Obviously, you never want to go out in that fashion, especially in a rivalry game. But then at the end of the day, you got to move forward. I know it's like kind of a cliche and a short answer, but you have to. You know what's ahead. You got the number one team in the country, obviously coming in, so you can't dwell on a loss that you just taken. So you just got to go full head steam into the next week and attack the opportunity.
Rico, this is a Ohio State team that you guys played last year, and it felt like one of your best games defensively overall. I know it's still a loss, but even with a lot of moving parts, do you still see similarities that you can take from last year's game that you can kind of look towards for this year? From 2 years ago? My bad, not last year, 2 years ago.
I think obviously I think we played them pretty tough on defense 2 years ago in that game, and then we were able to challenge them in a lot of different ways and make it into a game into a fourth quarter, and I think that's kind of the same mindset, same game plan we want to instill in that, making them get to the fourth quarter, making Ohio State execute, and just doing everything we can to leverage them vertically, horizontally, and just really challenge them in all phases of the game. And that's something we look forward to doing, and hopefully putting on film throughout the game.
You faced one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football so far with Julian Sain. You faced one a couple of weeks ago with Ty Simpson. What's that challenge like for a secondary when you face a quarterback like that?
I think it's a very, difficult challenge. He does a really good job of. I think Ohio State puts him in really, really good position. He's a younger quarterback. Doesn't put him in many compromising positions where he has to think too much. Kind of a lot of thinking done, putting the ball into the hands of your playmakers, not making them take sacks. So I think Ohio State does a really good job with their scheme, not putting him in really bad situations. But credit to him, he has really good pocket awareness, and he's a good quarterback, very accurate. Like you said, I think 78% passing completion percentage on the year. So, just going to have to challenge him, make him think as a younger quarterback, and just give him different looks and hopefully get him to overthink and throw some balls our way.
Just about challenges, like how do you feel that you could challenge Ohio State on, these guys defense challenge Ohio State this weekend?
I think, like I said, he's a younger quarterback, getting him different looks, putting him some pressure. He hasn't been in a situation this year where he had a lot of pressure on him and different things like that. So hopefully getting some pressure in his face, challenging the receivers on the back end with different coverages and different misses, and just like he said, I think the ultimate. I think it was a quote that Coach Tressel said last week. The ultimate. I can't even think about it, but it's something about physicality being the mediator in everything. So just choosing violence, choosing physicality, and making it a tougher game for them also, as physical as well as mental.
You always hear about defenses challenging quarterbacks like you were just describing. What are some of the ways that you as a corner can challenge receivers, either whether it's in press or in different coverages that you throw at them?
Yeah, I would say just not let them get too comfortable in giving them a plan before giving them different looks, different alignments. Maybe putting your hands on him here, giving him a free release here. Just a lot of different things to challenge him in different ways, so you not only make him think post-snap, before the snap, but also during the snap, So I think that's something we're going to do to challenge the receivers and just give them a little bit of different looks and challenge them that way.
2 weeks ago, it felt like you guys, at least from a passing defense standpoint, were doing pretty good up until the end. What did you see from the Michigan game, a couple of weeks ago that you maybe can build on when you face a team that passes like Ohio State?
Just keep playing how we were supposed to play. I think as they got into the fourth quarter, guys, seeing where the game was at, I think guys are trying to press a little bit, trying to make plays and get out of spots, and which is pretty common as a football player. You want to make a play, but I think just staying disciplined throughout the game and just making them earn it all the way through the fourth quarter and through the end of the game, so you're not giving any freebies and making the quarterback think, making the receivers think as well.
Rico, obviously Jeremiah Smith is somebody that gets a lot of attention, but Carnell Tate, Brandon, and it's just what stands out about kind of the core as a whole and some of those different skill sets.
I think they're a really good group. As good as a group as in the country. I got number one receivers at every option, so I think the Jeremiah Smith does get a lot of attention, but Tate is just as good as the other side. One is just as good in the slot, so I think they can do a lot, and just challenging them to not let these come easy, not let them get into such an easy rhythm. I think we can look at the course of their games. A lot of teams are playing a lot of over-the-top coverages. We don't want to get beat. We're going to just let them beat us underneath and all those different things. But I think in the games like this, you have to challenge them in that way and make them earn everything and not let them get comfortable as far as the timing with their quarterback and just all those different things.
It feels like, right now, coming off a 4-game losing streak, it might be mixed emotions right now. How does this group pull out the confidence after a loss like last week against the number one team in the country?
I think you just got to realize what an opportunity it is. this is the type of opportunity you pray for. You want to be the situation you want to be in. No matter if the outside world gives you a chance, anybody, I go into the mindset that anybody is beatable. Like we're just not going to lay down because they're Ohio State, the #1 team in the country. You're going to go out there and play your best ball. You live up to these moments, and you want to play your best ball in these moments. So just going to have to challenge them. Just going to have to play our best ball, and just that confidence can't waver. Just because this team is going to give their all. Ohio State doesn't care that we just got blown out by Iowa. They're just going to still play their brand of football, and we got to live up to that challenge.
You've talked about opportunities. You've had a lot of opportunities as a team against teams like this. They haven't gone the way you would want them to. Why would this be different?
I mean, I can't. I'm not going to just sit here and say, hey, we're going to do this and do that. I think it just also has to be a shared mindset throughout the team. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, it's an opportunity, and whether guys are going to live up to that or not, it's something we gotta do as a team. So I think I'm not just gonna sit here and say, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it, like I said, everybody bought into the mindset. This is an opportunity that you have to play against the #1 team in the country and show them and put your best on film. Then that's what guys have to do.
What's your sense of people actually doing that? When they're coming together and playing as a team, because it doesn't feel like it's been that way.
I think guys are bought into that mindset and that mentality, just because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a heck of an opportunity. So I mean, I think when guys want to put their best on the film and want to put their best against the nation's best, and so I think the mindset of the team, the mentality of the team is going to be all shared, and what we want to put on film and what we want to do as a team. Like I said, that doesn't guarantee us anything, but I know we're going to go out there putting our best foot forward and giving ourselves the best opportunity to compete.
Rico, I know as an athlete you got to shut out outside noise throughout the season, but there's been a lot of talk about Coach Fickell's job security. Just as a player, how do you deal with that as you go through a season?
I think at the end of the day, as a team, you can't really let that affect you. I mean, that's above our pay grade. That's above like our role. So we can't worry about Coach Fickell's job security, anybody else's job security. We just got to keep playing for him. And as a team, we're bought in. That's our coach and that's our leader at the end of the day. So we're going to put our best foot forward, our best effort for him. So I think as long as we block out the outside noise, focus on. Because at the end of the day, it only matters in-house. Not saying you guys' opinions don't matter, but it matters in-house what we're doing with each other every day to build each other and be the best team that we can be.
Are you with the younger guys that may not have gone through stuff like this, or this season like this? Like, what are you telling them, and how do you see like some of the younger players, like freshmen or redshirt freshmen, kind of working through this type of season?
I mean, just honestly, you just gotta tell them to keep pushing forward. It's a rough situation for everybody. It's a difficult situation, and even the guys that aren't playing, you just gotta keep the belief throughout them, because when you look at younger guys who aren't even playing in situation right now, next year this is going to be their team, and the years following after that is going to be their team. So you gotta keep that mindset, and as a leader, it's my job to permeate throughout the team and my unit to tell them and to set an example for those guys, and the mindset that you want to keep even as you're going through rough times, just to keep that team first mentality and doing everything that you can do to be the best version of yourself.
Along those lines, how do you keep the younger guys from not making Ohio State bigger than they actually are and beat them? The idea of them is so great, as opposed to just going in and playing their game.
I think at the end of the day, you got to keep that mindset that, yeah, they're the #1 team in the country, but they're a team just as any other team. They put on their pants one leg at a time, just like us, as I always say. So you can't make the game bigger than it is, because at the end of the day, they're just a team, and it's another opportunity. Every game is an opportunity. Every Big Ten game is an opportunity. Every time you get to lace up your shoes and play, it's an opportunity. So no matter who we play, you just got to keep that mindset that it's an opportunity to put what you want on film and to play your best ball.
You've been through a lot of tough times here. Is this one of the tougher stretches you've been through as a team? Oh
yeah, 100% for sure. Like never been in a situation where I've been 2-4 in my career. But like I said, as a leader, and watching even my freshman year, we were 1-3, and watching those guys bring off 8 straight or 7 straight, I watched the mindset and those older guys and those leaders stay consistent, and knowing that, hey, we're better than what we put on film, and we're just going to keep doing that and keep getting better and keep chopping at the wood each and every single day. So it's just, it's a tough time for us and as a team, but as a leader of this team, I got to keep that mindset, and I got to keep putting that and letting that permeate throughout the team, and putting my best foot forward, because guys look at me in that way to be an encourager and an uplifter on this team.
I mentioned as a leader, you're the person giving that, but who do you turn to when you need somebody to remind you of your confidence? I mean, if you're at the front of the room all the time, who can you turn to?
It's easy for me to say because my confidence comes from my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. No matter what, at the end of the day, I'm bigger. Like my life is bigger than football, and I don't mean that football doesn't mean nothing, because football means a lot to me. But I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not like, this doesn't kind of define me no matter what. So my confidence comes from an outside source, that comes from the Lord. So no matter what, I'm gonna keep pushing forward and keep being my joyful self, and just keeping my mindset around a team, because I want to live that out. You know, exactly.